And I say to myself, yeah, that's the American dream. That allows us to think, wow, just 40 years ago, when Martin Luther King was shot down, this country has come so far as to be able to elect an individual like Barack Obama. Hopefully your son will be able to one day either be at this podium or your members of your family will be the person from Transportation Security Administration who will be at that queue, at the front of the queue, when people who look like you and look like others in this room come forward, and your son or your family member will smile, remembering what maybe he or you had to go through. This is a marathon. This is a journey. This is something that America's story is still being revealed. And we're going to hit speed bumps. But the thing is, we really need to be able to imbue in those that we live with and love for them to not lose hope. You know, if you lose the hope in the system, then we've lost so much. And that's what the extremists are really hoping to do, continuing to hit and pummel. And if we respond with ignorance, if we respond in a manner that is inappropriate, we just give them what they are looking for. That's where we really have to counter this narrative that they have out there. Let's take a couple more. Over there. Yes.
Thank you so much. I wanted to commend the point that you made about how we need to be precise in the language we're using. And asking this question as president of Women in Islam Incorporated and a group of community organizations here in New York who wrote a response to the NYPD's report, Radicalization in the West, the Homegrown Threat. And in our meetings with Commissioner Kelly, which he was very nice to have a dialogue with us, and I think this kind of conversation is critical, we raised a question about the internet sites. And I think as we go forward in trying to address this problem, it's very important for us to have shared definitions of what we're trying to grapple with. So how can you please explain a little bit further as to what is the construct of an extremist website and what steps are taken or will be taken to share a list of these websites with the community? As you so eloquently put it, we will be responsible for dealing with this threat within our families and our community. And I'm asking this question also as a parent of an internet-savvy kid who knows more about the internet than I do. Thanks.
Oh boy, that's a really tough question. You know, how do you define extremism? When does it go past that line that is protected by free speech, but yet is going to inspire, agitate, encourage people to go down that violent path or carry out violent attacks? It really is tough. But I think as people who are schooled in your religions, who are schooled in what you want as a community, I think there are a number of websites out there and individuals who it's clear that they are really trying to push people further down this continuum toward violent extremism. A lot of people are very clever as they go out in order to preserve their ability to continue to post. I think the internet is something that we've had to deal with as parents and as community leaders, because that is an area where there is just so much preying from the standpoint of sexual predators, crime, identity theft, and using it, again, under the cloak of a religious banner for terrorist and extremist ends. I think this is one of the things that community organizations should be sitting down with local representatives of the NYPD or FBI or others to try to have that discussion and dialogue and raise expressions of concern. Before I came here this morning, I had breakfast with Commissioner Kelly, who is terrific, who really has tried to implement a law enforcement policy and environment here that is going to, again, allow people to feel that they can sort of walk through the streets and not feel that they are being singled out. It was nice to hear that you're here in New York and you feel at home, but you go 50 miles outside and all of a sudden it's a different environment. It's because of the richness here. But the issue of extremism and those websites, it's a tough one. And rather than go through sort of which ones I think are bad, I think there's, quite frankly, a lot of exposure in the press right now on some of those and some of those individuals who are just purveyors of violence. Over here. I've exceeded my time. Yes, I know. I'm going to get the.
Hi, thank you for being here. My name is Abid Puyan, and I'm a teacher in Brooklyn. One of the things that I'm taught by, and kind of forced by my administration at school, is to kind of give 3 takeaway points to my students. What are 3 things that they should have learned in this 1-hour period? And my question to you, I'm hoping is a simple one, is that President Bush, delivered Ramadan messages to Muslims. He said that we're not at war with Islam, we're at war with Al-Qaeda. Can you give us 3 specific, tangible points that differentiate the Obama administration from the previous Bush administration? And I was hoping, in a man in your position, given that you have extensive experience with both administrations, that you'd be able to come up with 3 in particular. Thank you.
Next question. First of all, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I have greatly held on to my nonpartisanship over the years because I consider myself a public servant. And I have served for both Republican and Democratic administrations and have been proud to do that. And I think the previous administration deserves a lot of praise and credit for the work they did after 9/11 as far as making this country safer and stronger. I had differences of view with the individuals within the administration on certain policies that were pursued, but I think we can all have honest differences of view on these issues. And I really don't want to highlight sort of what this administration is doing better than the last one. I can tell you some of the things that I feel, in some respects, are different as I go forward in this administration. Number one, I think the engagement with the world is done in a manner that really takes into account the complexities that we're facing. The world is not black and white. It's not divided into good and evil. It is a complex array of countries, cultures, peoples, issues that are very tough to resolve. It's not a game of kinetic checkers. It's more three-dimensional chess. And engaging with President Obama and others, I really feel as though as we try to address the issues in Yemen or Somalia or Iraq or Afghanistan, the appreciation is there for that three-dimensional chess. So that's one. Secondly, I think that is perceived by a lot of people overseas as being a change from the previous administration. One can agree or disagree with the decision to invade Iraq or to go into Afghanistan then after 9/11. But I think there was a perception that gathered worldwide after that invasion of Iraq that really viewed us through a prism that saw military adventurism. Right or wrong, that's the way what the perception was. With this administration, it turns a page. It's a new administration. And I think we've been given the opportunity. And I think that's why the expectations worldwide and within our own communities are so high, because things happened after 9/11, some absolutely necessary, some debatable. But we have a history there. But now we have a new chapter. And I feel that engagement with certainly a lot of my foreign partners, the willingness to partnering with the United States now, is something that they seek. And then third would be the president really does take as seriously as any other president his obligation to protect the security and safety of the American people. Every day he wants to make sure we are as proactive and aggressive on that. At the same time, though, he very much views these issues and these decisions that we take through that prism of our values as a nation. And, and I'm not going to address at all the previous administrations. The previous administration had people in it that were as committed to the values that they held very high. But the dedication to civil liberties, dedication to the rule of law, dedication to making sure that we're not going to overreact, that we're going to do things because it's the right thing to do. And I think anybody who's watched what's happened in Washington over the last year recognize that, this administration has its political detractors. And, politics, can be a really rather tough environment. And that's why I've tried to stay away from it. But the president has said to me and to others, good policy ultimately will give you good politics. Don't let the politics drive you. let the good policy drive you. Do what is right, and hopefully then the politics will follow, and the American people will understand exactly why. So I feel that this administration, this president, is really trying to do the right thing, but in very choppy waters. Choppy, I'm not just talking about the political environment, but they are choppy, but the international environment. We have countries that are aspiring for nuclear weapons. We have countries that continue to suppress and repress their people. We have countries that are led by individuals who are corrupt. We have continued problems of not dedicating the resources necessary to give people the opportunity to educate themselves, become literate, and to be part of their society and the world economy.